Juan reached out to Elsie to call an emergency meeting amongst the brothers. Elsie opened the meeting by introducing the newest members to the Brotherhood, Brother Minister and Corey Black. And when they first came to the meeting, Orlando already thought that it was a little weird, a little suspicious, but nonetheless, they proceeded. And Juan called the boys to the meeting because he wanted the Brotherhood to help him find Consuela. He reminded them that Alejandro was still alive and waged war on his family. He said that he was in love with Consuela and that Alejandro had taken her away. He said that before things get out of hand, he wanted to fight for her and get her back. They all argued that Alejandro was a good man despite his reputation, and they didn't want to get involved with some lover squabble or any marital disputes. LC pretty much agreed with everyone else to not get involved, and this made Juan very upset. He said, F everybody, F the members of the table, F LC. He said he'd handle it all on his own, and then he left. Then we cut to Consuela. She hears Ramon on the other side of the wall, and he's bleeding. He told her that he keeps blacking out, and he doesn't know if he's gonna make it any longer. Yeah, looks like somebody beat him up pretty good. And Consuela is over here promising him that she's gonna get him out. Really? Like, how are you gonna get him out? You're confined yourself, so this is going to be very interesting to see. Sebastian is mourning the demise of Baby and Doll when Rio comes in. Sebastian started reminiscing about how he met the girls, and he told Rio the story. They all met in Tennessee after Sebastian got out of jail. They were all in the same hotel, and he heard the girls fighting with one of their Johns who refused to pay them, somebody named Joey Cinco from the mob. Sebastian went over to their room to see what was going on, and they pretty much had everything handled. Sebastian fed him to the alligators, and they've been tight ever since. Sebastian told Rio that he really needed to get away for a little while. He asked Rio to keep an eye on his businesses and his clubs while he was away, and Rio agreed. He didn't really specify how long he would be gone, maybe 2 weeks, 2 years, who knows. But Rio agreed to help him out. Chippy calls LC to check in on Curtis, and she also lets him know that Nevada and Uncle Marco are bonding quite nicely. Elsie told her that Juan is now looking for Consuela, and he thinks that it'll be a good idea to go over to talk to Juan after everyone turned their backs on him. Then we enter the lab with good old Dr. Fritz here. She's there with Alexander all tongue-tied, trying to explain herself once again, and Alexander is very irritated and frustrated with her. Aries and Brandy come in, and Brandy recognized Dr. Fritz from a paper that she wrote, and they began chatting. And while they're chatting, Brandy was actually able to go in and replicate a variation of heat. She replicated the formula in like under a minute or something that apparently took Dr. Fitz weeks, maybe even months to do or not do, because she was still unable to deliver what Alexander wanted. And yeah, she's now feeling away because Brandy is showing her up. And because Dr. Fitz kept having hiccups with formulating the formula, Alexander couldn't really trust that, so he took her out. Boom, just like that. LC makes it over to Juan's and, just to check on him, and Juan said that he'd never stab LC in the back like he did him. LC wasn't feeling any love, so he left. Juan said that he'd take care of Alejandro himself. He told his friend to get everyone together on the payroll and tell his son to pack his bags. Lord, it's Thirsty Bernie, y'all. Bernie just wants to get in on all the deals and the happenings when it comes to heat, and I really wish that LC would just cancel his Brotherhood membership ASAP. He was just about to head home when Alexander came in. Alexander wanted to introduce him to Aries, but Bernie said he didn't have time. It's a Sabbath. He wants to do all the business on Monday. But when Bernie found out that Alexander wanted to buy as much heat as he possibly could get his hands on at retail price, oh, he had time then. His ears perked all the way up, and he was ready to do business right then and there. We all know that Bernie has all the time in the world when it comes to heat. He's such a snake. Ramon seems to be the brain in this little road act here. Consuela keeps stressing the fact that she's going to get them out, and Ramon told her, look, you're caught up and confined just like me, so how are you going to get us out? She assured him that Juan was coming to get them and that she could feel it in her heart. Brother Rashad had to put Elijah on game by letting him know that he doesn't know the difference between a meeting and a date. Brother Elijah said that he didn't know that if it was the right time to be dating Sasha, but Rashad had to let him know that Allah's timing is perfect, so it was the time. Then we see LC and Curtis leaving for a round of golf when they run into Orlando and Junior, and LC told Orlando to let Curtis use his unused golf clubs, and here again we see the tension and the uncomfortability that Orlando has every time Curtis is around. When they left out, Junior told Orlando to give him a chance. Orlando told him that they're not kids anymore and he wouldn't have done him like that. I'm really curious to know what has happened between these two. I haven't seen the rest of the series, so if you've seen it, please don't spoil it for me me and the rest of us. We all need to end at the same place at the same time, okay? So our little bartender here makes it to the kickback, and it looks like Wayne is not available. So in the meantime, while she's waiting for Wayne, he offers her a hit of the heat, and he told her that it wasn't a drug, but more like a Red Bull or a no-dose. She told him that she had to study the next morning, so she went ahead and took the heat. Then we come back to Curtis and LC. Curtis won the round of golf, and now it's time for LC to pay up. LC wanted to know if Curtis was close to catching brother X, and he said that X is as good as caught and that he had friends at the U.S. Marshals Department. He said that he has all the intel that he needs, and he also told LC that he was sleeping with his sister. LC told him that he wanted to have all this business wrapped up before Junior's wedding, and Curtis said that he's just waiting for X to mess up. And they both seem to agree that Orlando is a bit bothered by his presence and him being there, and he said that he's just, there to do his job and he doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. Todd has returned from his Brotherhood meeting in New York, and he said that LC was good to do business with for a darky. And they cracked a few dry jokes about one of their wives and their daughter-in-laws. And guys, these men's accents, they're Irish, so it's pretty thick, right? But I can get out the fact that he said that he had good news and he had bad news. And the good news is that he was leaving in the morning, and the bad news is that he may be going to war. Sebastian made it to see Maud, and she said that she really wanted to be there, but her and the girls didn't get along. Sebastian said that now that the girls are gone, he's going to travel the world. But before he left, he gave her a big old bag of that heat. And I'm not really sure if Maud is his sister, his mom, or his aunt, but she actually raised him. And I haven't seen all the episodes, guys, once again, so no spoilers in the comments, okay? Brandy is uber excited for developing the new drug that she calls fire. And it's 5 times as potent as heat and 10 times more addictive. And they think it's way more better than what Dr. Fitz had created because no one has actually died or had seizures. They only ask for the drug every hour on the hour. Aries told her that his father is going to be very pleased. Good old boy here and horny Heather have been in this they've been in this room for like 2 days. No shower, no bath, no food, no clothes. I can only imagine what it's smelling like up in there. And in this final scene, we see Juan here with one of his hitmen at Alejandro's place. They both went in with guns blazing prematurely and hit one of Alejandro's men that they actually knew his name was Don. And the sidekick here wanted to steal all the dope, but he told them no because they're not thieves. They're just there to get his attention. He left his calling card on the murder scene and they left in scene. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you're a family business fan, go ahead and sub to the channel because I do videos like this all the time. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV, and I'll see you on the next one.